Last time we started a series called Random Chat, where we just I get to put her on the spot, and she can also get to put me on the spot. We just ask any random question, so we'll get to see how we do. So the question I'd like to ask today is, from the time I met you in 2005 till now, you've made a lot of transitions, you've made a lot of changes. That version of you that I met then is not the version I can see right now. So, what has helped you through the process to make that transition to become the version of you that we see that we are presenting to the world now?
Okay. Nice question, though. Very good question. What has helped me? A lot of things. One would be me permitting myself, giving myself that permission to step out, to be the best, to do all God has called me to do. Sometimes you know there are things, there's an assignment for your life, but those inner thoughts sometimes circumstantial events make you hold back. So this was me saying to myself, you're not getting any younger, and the king's work demands haste. Come on, let's step out and do this. Then what has helped me? Yes, a lot of personal development. A lot of my work with God as well. Just relying on God to show me what step to take next. It would be very unfortunate that you go on a journey and you get to the end of it and realize that you've just traveled on the wrong journey. You've taken the wrong route. So it's more or less having your antenna connected to know what you should be doing per time. Just working it with God, really. And then developing myself, exposing myself, being willing to learn. You never stop learning. I think that's one of the worst things that can happen to anyone. So I am always looking for an opportunity to learn. I try to push myself out there. And then, of course, putting myself in the midst of the right people. I always would say you cannot be better than your association. So it's just important that from time to time you just sift things and deliberately ensure that you're having contact. I think in one of the videos we did recently, we were talking about this, and I said, I think we're talking about goal mapping for the new year, for 2021, and I was saying in that video, when you've realized the goals you need to achieve in the next year, you need to then ask yourself, where are the people who can help me achieve these goals? Where are they? I might need to get myself into seminars, into their seminars. I just need to put myself where I can find these people and shrink time by drawing from their wealth of experience. So that's it in a nutshell.
Wow. Okay. Well, I was hoping to put you on the spot. I wasn't expecting you to be that structured in your thinking in terms of saying it right on the spot. So, well, for me,
yes.
What question do you want to ask?
I was going to.
No, I can't. I was going to assume.
I will ask you the same.
Same
what has
question.
helped you? Yes.
Okay, so for me, what has helped me is because I just came up with that question, so I didn't want to.
And you
cheat.
enjoyed listening to me.
Yes, I didn't want to cheat by thinking of it ahead of time, so it's spontaneous as well. So for me, what has helped me is first thinking of I think becoming dissatisfied with the way my life was going at the time. Thinking I had a lot of burden and I had a vision of what I wanted to do, but I wanted to try out many things, and so that's being dissatisfied with where I was the first thing that pushed me. All right, because I'm sure based on my temperament, if I was comfortable with where I was, probably I would have just settled. But I was really, really dissatisfied by my environment. All right, by the prospects that I could see in the future. I knew there was something special about what I'm going to do with my life, but I wasn't quite sure what it was. It was kind of fuzzy. So that's one key thing. I was dissatisfied where I was. Two, I had people that were living out the life I wanted. So I had a boss then who was like, it wasn't my boss at the time. I went to him for mentoring. I said, sir, I can see you do this. I would like to do this. I got engaged in touch with him. Then eventually, when he set up his company, I joined him, and we've been, we had all kind of relationships from there, from mentorship to, boss-employee relationship to mentorship again, and the relationship I've been on for over 20 years. So I had institution people around me that I could see that could pull me to a higher standard. That's 2. 3 was that self-development. Like you said, self-development was an important thing. I attended a church, that has a culture of reading and stretching yourself. So our set man is very driven. When you think you've seen everything, the next thing, he moves to the next phase. So, when you have someone like that in your space, in your life, that you're observing, you're observing him closely. I've worked with him closely. I worked with him from afar. I've seen that this gentleman is a learner. He keeps learning. In fact, there was one time I had the privilege of getting into his library. I was amazed how long it took us to set up his library then. I'm talking about over maybe almost 20 years ago now. He had books, so having someone like that firsthand, it was life changing for me. And then when I started reading, something has started happening to my mind. So that's one key thing. Another key thing that helped me. I've talked about the environment I grew up in. I didn't want to replicate anything like that at all. So another thing that pushed me forward was I had this internal longing to set up and run my own thing. So that put me on a journey to try to find out how to do it. So based on that, I connected with the right people, and then eventually I started running out my own company. So I made a few mistakes, I learned from it, and that has helped me to improve. Because one thing I learned from life is every phase you are at is a stepping stone for the next phase. All right. So if you run a company at this phase, you run this, but you pick up some skill and some knowledge in that you transfer to the next phase of your life. And that's very, very powerful. And also marrying the right person, definitely marrying the right person has really helped me to become a better version of myself, to be in the same space with someone who holds you accountable, who holds you to a higher standard, who looks up to you. So you don't want to make some kind of errors. Why? Because you know that many people are looking up to you. That's one other thing that has really pushed me forward. And I think another thing, but above all, one key thing I would say is ability to hear from God. That is the number one asset to my life. All right. If I lose that, I lose every other thing. Ability to hear from God for every situation, for every phase, for every time. The moment that is not there, every other thing is just you. I'll just be like someone groping in the dark. So for me, that's my number one asset. Ability to hear from God and knowing what He wants me to do per time. That was very, 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 very important. So we just like to wrap it up here. I'm going to look for something else.
Go on and on.
Something I pushed up. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.